Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Topic just carrying on, that have hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this hadith here, Hazrat Utbah ibn Malik Ansari radiallahu anhu, the Sahab of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who took part in the Battle of Badr also with Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says that he should make imamat for the Banu Salim, the people. In other words, he was imam for those people. He performed the namaz for them. See, between where I should stay and where the masjid was, there was a valley in between, and when the rain should come, the valley should get full up with water, and it should be difficult to cross the river, the valley with all this water. But with all the difficulties, I should cross the water and go and perform the namaz for them. When my eyesight became weak and I couldn't see properly at that time, and I became very weak also, so it's difficult for me to go and perform namaz for them there. And I asked Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said my eyesight is gone weak now, I'm going weak myself also, and between my house and the masjid there's a valley. When rain comes, it gets full of water. It's difficult for me to cross the water there and go and perform namaz there now. My heart's desire is if Nabi Kareem sallallahu can come to my home and choose a spot where Nabi Kareem sallallahu can read namaz, where I can make that spot as a masjid of my house, in other words. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu accepted his invitation and said, Inshallah, I will come to you. The next day, according to the promise, Hazrat radiallahu anhu says that Nabi Kareem sallallahu at the time of Chasht came to his home with Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. When he entered the home, they took permission to come in the home, and Nabi sallallahu asked, before sitting down, he asked him which place in the house you want to make a masjid. So I pointed out to one corner of the house when Nabi Kareem sallallahu performed 2 rakat namaz, and myself and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu stood behind Nabi Kareem sallallahu and followed him in the 2 rakat namaz. In other words, in Dafil namaz, if 2 people can join the imam, then there is permission for that. In other words, Nabi Kareem sallallahu read 2 rakat namaz. After reading 2 rakat namaz, and we know very well, when Nabi Kareem sallallahu came to the home now, they won't let Nabi sallallahu go away without entertaining him also now. So they prepared the type of a meal, it's called khazira, they prepared for Nabi Kareem sallallahu. And the people around in the surrounding area around, they came to know of Nabi Kareem sallallahu coming to his home, so all came to meet Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam now. And when he came to meet Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one of the people from the gathering asked, what happened, why is Malik not here with us? Sahabi was staying in the same area he was staying. It's possible that at the time he was not there, he was present, he went out somewhere for some work, or he never got the information of Nabi Kareem sallallahu coming there, so he wasn't present there. So when they couldn't see Malik radiallahu anhu, they started asking one another, we don't see Malik around here. One person from them told that he looks like he is a munafiq. Otherwise, Nabi Kareem sallallahu has come to our area, and he's not come to meet Nabi Kareem sallallahu it looks like he is a munafiq, and he doesn't have love for Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And second person also told the same thing. Then Nabi Kareem sallallahu said, don't speak like that. You don't know that he has read kalima with sincerity and with love for Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He read kalima la ilaha illallah with love for Nabi Kareem, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In other words, Nabi Kareem sallallahu gave the witness of him being a mu'min. Then after this, all the Sahabas kept quiet now, and Nabi Kareem sallallahu himself gave the witness that he is a mu'min. He read the kalima with the sincerity. Now nobody could say that now he's the munafiq. So then they said, Allah and Nabi sallallahu knows better now that what is his condition. And the people said that we are saying this, why? Because we seem associating with the munafiqs quite often. Then Nabi Kareem sallallahu replied that Jahannam is haram on that person who was sincerely reads the kalima la ilaha illallah. So this words of Nabi Karim, this incident took place here. Now in this incident that took place here, what Nabi Karim Sallallahu brought to the notice, they did not put allegation to anybody without a proof. Secondly, maybe the person was not present in a locality, he never got information, or that's why he never come, or some other reason there may be. But when you know that the person has read that kalima la ilaha illallah with sincerity, on that person Jahannam will become haram on him. Others will go to Jannah, will go to. So a person going to Jannah, you cannot talk bad of him, others. So we'll find that in the Munafiqin also, they also read the kalima, but it's not the kalima with sincerity and with conviction. They don't read it. That's why their condition is different. And here Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam expressed that the view that he is a moment, he read namaz, he read kalima with sincerity, and he's got love for Allah and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In the studies we came to find out here that there is one place, spot in the masjid which the people is secluded for reading namaz, which is called the masjid of the home, it's called now. So in that place remains clean all the time, and when other person read namaz in the spot where he has chosen to kept it like a masjid. Because we find that all other places in the home sometimes when people walk around, you cannot keep it clean all the time. But the place which you keep secluded for namaz, that place remains clean and park all the time. Especially in the home when there are children also, then the children sometimes mess somewhere also. Then with the result, the area becomes napak, and you don't know how napak place or namaz will be accepted or not. That's why it is mustahab to keep a place, a secluded place in the home to read namaz, which is called the masjid of the home. It's called. The Fuqaha is also written that in the kitab also is mentioned that the masjid of the home, in other words, the man of the home will read namaz in a masjid and make i'tikaf in a masjid. So where was the woman be i'tikaf now? So you have a special spot in a masjid, in a house, that make that as a place where we read our namaz. Then the ladies can make i'tikaf in that place. They can make i'tikaf also. So now some people say that we haven't got any spot in our homes for namaz. Then the ulama said, if there's not that, then make a spot. Choose a spot in a house somewhere. This is a place where we're going to read our namaz, and then that place will become the masjid of the home. It will become. Yeah, now khazira, which is mentioned, where they entertain Nabi Karim Sahab with khazira. What is that now? Some say that the meaning of that Mustafa rice, he says that it is flour and fat put together and cooked with some meat inside. And when the water burns out, then the remainder that is called khazira. It is called that. Hazrat Umar Radiallahu Anhu narrates it one time. Some slaves came some captives came to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In these captives there were some women also, and there were some men also inside there. There was one woman who was breastfeeding her child. And whenever a woman is breastfeeding a child, when the milk fills up into her breast, at that time she feels very uneasy. She wants to feed the milk to the baby, that she can get comforting together. So this woman, because the milk is filled up into her breast, and because of that, her child wasn't around her, so she was very, very uneasy and running around looking for a child. When she found a small child, she picked the small child up and put it into a lap and fed the milk. Seeing this situation, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked the Sahaba Karam that this woman now, see how much she loves this child, that is it possible that this woman purposely would pour this child into a fire or anything? The Sahaba, when they saw this, how can it be possible when this woman was so uneasy without the child, and when she got the child, she fed the child the milk, and she was so comfortable with the child, how can she ever throw the child into the fire? And the Sahaba took oath and said that it's never possible that this woman will ever put the child into the fire. Then Nabi Karim Sallallahu replied to that how much love the mother has got for the child, how much of kindness the mother shows towards the sky, towards the child, Allah Ta'ala shows much more kindness and love towards the ummah. Now it is, and from you cannot see when the mother not prepared to put the child into the fire, so how will Allah Ta'ala put his servant into the fire of Jahannam? So this shows the love Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has got for his servants. That the servant who obeys the commands of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Allah will not put him into the fire of Jahannam. Abu Hurairah narrates from Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, when He created the whole the creation He created, then on the Sahifa He wrote something on the, and that is kept safe. It's kept safe on the arsh of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. What was written in the Sahifa? That my mercy and my kindness overpowers my anger. In some riwayats it's mentioned that and Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says that my kindness and my rahmat surpasses my anger also. So you can imagine when Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, in other words, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has got more kindness and love towards His creation compared to the anger or to give punishment to the creation. Just why Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's commands are all so easy to fulfill, to comply with that we can draw the mercies of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the kindness of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and benefit from them. In this world we see the people, how many people are there that disobey Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? Besides that, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gives them sustenance also. Allah Ta'ala fulfill the needs of everybody in this world. Those people who are disobedient to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Allah gives them also sustenance on him. So just imagine if Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gives this responsibility to one of us, that we must give the sustenance to the people of the world. What will we do in such a situation? And people who disobey us, we'll make sure we will give them even a little bit, a few grains also. We won't give them also, because they have disobeyed us. But dear Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is full of rahmat and mercy and kindness, because of it, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gives and fulfill the needs of everybody. All of His servants, He fulfill the needs of them. Whether you obey Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala or you don't obey Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Allah has got the wisdom in Him to look after it, because of kindness and mercy to humanity. Allah Ta'ala feeds everybody. So it shows that Allah Ta'ala's mercy is much more than His anger. A person disobeying Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, making guna, how anger must angry with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala get? But in spite of all that anger, His mercy overpowers him and still gives him sustenance. So Allah Ta'ala's anger is displayed very seldom, not always. But the mercy is displayed always. And you look at in the world, everywhere also you'll find Allah Ta'ala's mercy is much more than His anger. And if you take assessment and you see also, in the past past Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam also will see that the Nabi should tell them to obey Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. When they should come to such a limit where they oppose the Nabi also, they oppose Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala also, and they came to opposition, complete opposition they came about, and they were not prepared to make tawbah istighfar also, then Allah Ta'ala sent a punishment. Then Allah's anger overpowers the mercy, and punishment came and they were destroyed. But until they don't oppose Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala openly, or the Nabi openly, Allah Ta'ala kept on giving them the ni'mat. You see, the air, for example, Allah Ta'ala gives air to everybody. Air is free for everybody. Nobody is deprived of air. Water, nobody is deprived of water. So these things, the necessity of human being, Allah Ta'ala made it free for everybody. But now it's up to the individual to think that when something is given to us for free, then what must we do? How must we be sure that ihsan to whoever gave us that? So Allah Ta'ala gave us air free of charge. And now we see when the sickness is coming around, how the people got to run around for oxygen. And they go to buy oxygen, pay for oxygen. How difficult is it? Rather, Allah Ta'ala gives oxygen free to everybody. Then too, we don't appreciate the ni'mat of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, then who's more unappreciative than us? Another hadith Abu Hurairah narrates that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam explained that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has created 100 paths of rahmat, of His mercy. From the 99 paths of the mercy Allah kept Ibrahim, and one part of that mercy Allah has sent onto the earth. So the others 99% Allah kept Ibrahim, 1% is sent down to the earth, and distributed amongst all the creation of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. For example, the creation of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, whether it can be a jinnat, whether it can be a human being, whether it can be an animal, whether it can be reptiles, can be insects, whatever it is, or that muhabbat, that 1% muhabbat is distributed amongst all of them. And because of that, you see that even a lion or a lioness also will love its own cub also. Find that animals, the vicious animals also, they also love them, and the offspring love them. This is because of 1% of that marhamat, muhabbat, love Allah Ta'ala has put divided into the creation. Another narration also is mentioned that some of that 1% of mercy of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has divided, sent down onto the jinnat and the human being and all the animals also, and all the insects also on the surface of the earth also, and whatever other animals there are on the besides that also, and reptiles, whatever you can think, all that Allah has distributed 1% amongst all of them. And that is why you'll find this muhabbat and love with one another. So this love Allah Ta'ala has just put into the heart, into every creation of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And that's why you'll find human beings also, they love their children also because of that. And this love Allah Ta'ala put into the heart. And sometimes you'll find that this love is taken away. Allah Ta'ala snatch away this love, then what happens? When Allah snatch away this love, then you'll find a father don't love the son also. The mother don't love their daughter also. They don't agree with one another. Sisters don't agree with one another. Brothers don't agree with one another, because Allah took away this love from them. So this love also is from Allah Ta'ala's side. So we can make what Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Allah must protect us with His love, that we can have love for His creation also, and we can love comfortably. When love is taken away, you'll find amongst the people there will be a lot of disunity, arguments, fights, and quarrels amongst people because love is taken out. So this Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said that 1% love Allah said distribute among the creation. As Mustafa said, if you look at the horse also, will find the female horse will find also will look after and support the baby so much that she'll keep her leg also up to see that the child doesn't get hurt at any time. She'll support the baby so much. So it shows that the animals also will find how much they look after their children also. So just kindness and mercy will find in animals or insects also is part of that 1% of the Muhammad Allah Ta'ala just distribute amongst everyone. So 99% of that mercy Allah Ta'ala has kept by Himself, and that Allah Ta'ala will display that kindness, mercy, that 99% of mercy Allah will display it on the day of Qiyamah to everybody. So it shows that how kind Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is. So you can have hope in the kindness of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So in other words, this whole world which is in existence, and the function of this whole world which is in existence also is because of 1% of the muhabbat and love Allah Ta'ala is distributed amongst the people. So when we listen to this, how much of hopes would we have in Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? And Allah has kept 1% of muhabbat and love, so much of good is on the surface of the earth. What about the 99% on the day of Qiyamah? And how kind would Allah Ta'ala will be to His obedient servants on the day of Qiyamah with the 99%? That's why you'll find in the hadith, you'll find different incidents you'll find when Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for small actions will get happy with the banda and forgive and send him to Jannat. Because of what 99% of love which Allah Ta'ala is kept for the day of Qiyamah. In one hadith, the Qudsi, Abu Hurairah narrates from Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Hadith the Qudsi means something which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said direct to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Islam that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is called Hadith Qudsi is called. That when a person makes a guna, just with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, commits a sin, then asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the forgiveness of his sin. Then he says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, I've made a mistake, please forgive me. I've committed a sin, please forgive me. And Allah ta'ala said that this person knows that I am his creator, and he knows that I will forgive him also, and he knows that I've got the power to punish him also. He knows that I am his Rabb, I'm his creator. That Allah ta'ala said, I've forgiven him. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam further says that when Allah ta'ala forgives the guna of his, and that person now a second time again he commits the guna again. Again he turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and says, Allah, I've made a mistake, I've sinned, I've transgressed your laws, please forgive me. Allah ta'ala will again say that this person knows that I am Allah, I am his Rabb, and knows that he disobeyed me also, and know that I've got all the powers to punish him also. Because of that, because he has so much of hope in me, he knows that I will forgive him. So because of that, I've forgiven him. Now, and because of this now, the first guna, the tawbah he made, that tawbah will remain in his space. He's accepted already by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now again, the third time again he commits a guna again. So then Allah ta'ala forgive him again with sincere heart. Allah ta'ala say the same thing, that this person, he knows I'm his Allah. He knows that he has committed the wrong against me. I know that I can punish him also. And so because of that, I've forgiven him also. So imagine how kind Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is again and again. But with sincerity, we turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is prepared to forgive us immediately. So it shows that we shouldn't lose hope in the mercies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is there to forgive us at all times. So the doors of Tawbah are always open for the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whenever they make Tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it is a day, whether it is a night, wherever it can be, whether at home, whether in the masjid, wherever you make Tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is always prepared to accept your Tawbah. What's the meaning of that those people who make big gunas, big sin and they make, and they turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they shouldn't have thought that Allah will not forgive us. You make Tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will definitely forgive them. So the mother they put their request of Tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's side, the decision of forgiveness is being planned already. Like previously also is mentioned also in that the person shouldn't purposely start making guna and turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the wrong thing. He can't purposely start making guna and say Allah is going to forgive me, Allah is very kind and merciful. That's not correct. The person who behaves in that manner, who purposely and boldly commit guna of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then his condition is such that he won't have the tawfiq to make tawbah also after that. But those persons who make guna unmindfully or by mistake they make guna, and then they make tawbah, then that tawbah will definitely accept Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the person who purposely makes guna and try to oppose Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah ta'ala is very kind, that person will never get a tawfiq of making tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So normally a person when make guna, the thought comes in mind that now I've committed guna against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then ask Allah ta'ala for maafin and start asking forgive from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this person who purposely make guna, that thought won't come to his mind also. I will ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But a person who makes guna unknowingly, by mistake the guna takes place, and he fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then now this man fears and turns towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this person, because of that remorse within himself, because of that shame within himself, and turns towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will definitely forgive him. One is a person who commits guna openly and boldly. He got no remorse with himself. So how will he make tawbah? One of the essence of tawbah is to have remorse within yourself. But a person who openly makes tawbah and guna to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's got no remorse with him. How will the tawbah be accepted? For me to understand, if a person makes tawbah and the tawbah breaks, and again he makes tawbah, and tawbah breaks again, and he feels hurt with himself. I've committed great guna, injustice against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I'm making tawbah again and again with the same fervor, with the same feeling with himself of guilt and sorrow with himself, the regret with himself. Then tawbah, definitely Allah will accept the tawbah every time. So in every tawbah you'll find three things are necessary, three things. And some places the fourth thing also is necessary. And the first thing is you've got to have that guilt within yourself. You've got to have that sorrow or the regret within yourself in your heart that I have committed this guna and I have hurt the feelings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I went against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I was not supposed to do this. So to have this feeling within heart and return towards beloved Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and because of the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he feels that now I've heard the feelings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I shouldn't have done such a thing. And normally a person who loves somebody and he hurts their feeling, and he feels hurt himself. How could I do such a thing? This person was so kind to me. How could I have hurt him? Now, till you don't take away that hurt from that person and makes the person happy, he won't feel at ease. Like for example, a person's father is kind towards him, he gives him everything and gives all types of support. Now he made some mistake. Now father came to know that he made a certain mistake. Now how hurt would that son feel? The father provides everything for me, and now I hurt his feelings now. He'll try all means to please his father now. He'll ask him for forgiveness also. He'll do some extra work for him also, whatever it is. He'll try and overcome that hurt of the father. Then only feel comfortable he'll feel. The same way when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator whom we love, we love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we hurt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the person cannot remain at peace at all. Till he don't make tawbah and turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he won't feel comfortable at all. So, and the second thing here, that he must stay away from that guna completely. And the third thing is now make proper intention not to commit that guna again. And the time he's making tawbah, he must have this thing will be sincere, but this intention within himself. In his heart, he mustn't feel, no, I'm making tawbah now, but I'll do it again afterwards. I'm going after tawbah again. It is not called sincere tawbah that now. Sincere tawbah is that I won't do it again in future again. After some time, they commit the same guna again by mistake again, or a situation comes such and they committed the guna again. Then again with the same feeling in his heart again, we talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again we talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah ta'ala will accept the tawbah of his. So by making the tawbah the second time, the first time tawbah is already accepted. They won't affect the first tawbah at all. Because the first tawbah also, with sincerity made it first tawbah also. Now the second tawbah also made with sincerity again with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah will accept the second tawbah also again. So in that manner, no matter how much tawbah you make with the sincerity, with this condition with ourselves, that tawbah will definitely be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala also he explains the condition of tawbah. He says there are 6 conditions of tawbah. He explains. He says one is that you must feel hurt of the guna you have made. Whatever guna you must feel hurt, you have regret with yourself. And the second thing is whatever the faraiz and wajibat which you have left behind now, you can make qaza of it. For example, you never did namaz, you never keep your roza, for example, you must make the qaza of it. You can't say that I won't make qaza and then I know it's sufficient. No, you got to make qaza of it. Like for example, somebody got a shop and he never pays tax, for example. Now when the taxman come and assess all his books now, and then what happened? He'll say now you got to pay your tax again now. And at the same time, you pay a fine also, make a pain also. So you won't say now, if you're paying the fine, now don't pay the extra amount of tax. They won't say that. You got to pay the tax also, you pay the fine also, you got to pay. Same in here, you can make a tawbah also, and you can make your qaza also at the same time. And if you've taken anybody's wealth, anything oppressively, then you got to return that to them. That also is a condition also. And if you hurt anybody with your hands, or with your speech, then you are asking for forgiveness also at the same time. and when we have full firm intention not to commit that guna again in future again. And the 6th point mentioned here, how you have to use your nafs to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now you must try and make your nafs make it out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how your nafs enjoyed making guna, but make your nafs enjoy making itaat, obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also. So it's saying in one hadith it comes that after you make some mistake or guna, immediately make some good actions to cover up for that guna you have made. So these are the conditions for making tawbah when make a guna or sin. Hazrat Mufti Taqi Usmani Sahab Muhammad Ali, he says that Hazrat plus Khalifa Dr. Abdul Hai Sahab Arafi Rahmatullah Ali. See, once he said, went to him and Dr. Sahab said, he told the youngsters that to make tawbah is very, very easy. The masla of tawbah is very, very easy. So before sleeping at night, make a proper intention not to make tawbah again. Not to make guna again. Make a sincere tawbah at night, then Allah will forgive your sins. So Molana Taqi Sahab Ali says that he asked Dr. Sahab that tawbah has got these 3 conditions attached to it now. But now this person, how will fulfill this tawbah just by making tawbah at night like that? One is to have the regret within yourself. One is to leave the sin completely. And the third one is to make a proper intention, sincere intention not to commit the guna again. So he's saying that Dr. Sahib is telling him that at night now, every day when you make tawbah at night, that maybe you have a regret within yourself, or feel hurt within yourself, that is possible, say. And at the same time, to leave the guna also, you feel, the thought will come to your mind. And the third thing that have that sincere intention not to combat the guna in future again, this never comes to a person's mind when you're making tawbah like that. Then Dr. Sahib replied that the proper intention is from the heart always. It's not from the tongue it is. The person says from the tongue, but the intention comes from the heart, then that tongue also utters that intention from heart. So the reality of that is that the person has got the intention that in future I will not do this guna again now. So when he says that what comes in his heart, that's what will utter it with his tongue will utter it. Sometimes a person makes some guna, then what he does now, he makes the intention in his heart only, I will never do this guna again now. And then he always keep a guard of himself that this tawbah I made now in my heart must not break again. So this is also called sincere tawbah is called. And he also wishes that nafs must not overpower me at the same time. And the shaitan must not let me do this guna again. So this also is sincere tawbah in other words. And Hazrat explained, he said that this doubt a person has within himself that my guna might break, what will happen to me if I make a guna, if the shaitan trouble me again, what will happen to me? This doubts and this doubts in the person doesn't break the tawbah at all, doesn't affect the tawbah. Because these are just the doubts that come in the person's minds. But he has made a perfect intention not to commit that guna, that is sufficient now. The doubts has got no reality at this stage. So in essence, we're going to understand, when a person make any guna, then you're going to have that hurt within yourself, that regret within yourself, and you're going to understand, try and have the feeling that whose guna you are making, whose laws you are breaking. If you have the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within yourself, then that tawbah, very quickly you turn towards tawbah. If you haven't got the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within yourself, then it takes time for you to realize that what guna have you made. So you got to understand the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. That's why we read the kalima La ilaha illallah. Then you got to understand that we only worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is our creator, who is our sustainer, who created the whole universe, who is so kind towards us, and so much of rahmat he has kept for himself, 99%. 1% if you went to the people, when understand the powers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at that time you'll find that the person will have the feeling with himself, how could I ever hurt the feeling of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How could I go against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And that hurt alone will be the means of changing his life after that. And that person will read what to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah help me and save me from my nafs to overpower me. And read what to Allah ta'ala, oh Allah save me from shaitan overpowering me and taking me on the wrong track again. So once you have that feeling of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within yourself, and that's when you reach the stage here where every small guna also will try to stay you from every small guna also. And that tawbah will become so strong that you will never commit a guna again, because you know that you made tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is your creator. But now at the same time, a person think now, and the doors of tawbah are open, then what's wrong? If I make a guna, I'll make tawbah again, what's wrong in that? And that is not good. Like how, as I mentioned before, I say, if a person, for example, he manufactured or made some type of ointment. If you get cut, you put the ointment on the cut, the blood will stop immediately, and the wound will get healed immediately. Now this person, because he made the ointment, he's got his ointment which is so effective, he starts cutting his hand now, cutting his finger in his body. What are you doing this? He said, I got a medicine to cure myself. What would you say of this? What would you say concerning this person? Saying this person is a stupid person, he's an ignorant person, he's doing something which is very foolish, he's doing something which is, the meaning of the purpose of the medicine or the ointment is that by mistake you get cut somewhere, something happened, then use that ointment to look after yourself. So yeah, to think that I'll keep on making tawbah, that's the wrong notion. This is an example. Example you can understand very well, that to say something like I'll make tawbah again and again, that's not correct. That tawbah is when a person makes a mistake, then you make the tawbah again. But purposely you can't make a guna and say, no, now I'll keep on forgiving me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that no matter what the servant can do, whatever he can do, but as long as he turn towards me and make tawbah, I am there to forgive all his gunas. Hazrat Abu Hurairah narrates from Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, takes oath on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in whose hands my life is. If you don't make guna, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will displace you. But such people who make guna and then turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make istighfar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will forgive them also. So in other words, human nature is that we do slip up, we do make guna. So now the remedy for that, you got to make tawbah and turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like, for example, you find some dirt somewhere, and you don't wash away the dirt, and more dirt starts collecting on top, and more dirt collecting on top. Now the thing has so much of dirt that you cannot see the original part of this thing also now, and to clean it also becomes difficult now. And you feel difficult how much to clean the things, just throw it away. But if you clean the dirt every time now and then, that part will remain clean all the time, the grease won't collect on top, and it's easy for you to clean it, and you feel happy that everything is going to clean now. Same thing with our tawbah also. We keep on making tawbah and cleaning ourselves, that our heart will keep on shining with the nur of tawbah, or nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we progress in that manner. So many people, when they read this hadith here, they have that misunderstanding in the hadith. In reality, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created human beings, and in the human beings, Allah ta'ala has created a power to do good work and to do bad work also. Both the salahiyat, capability that Allah has kept in the human being to do good also and to do bad also. If a human being don't commit guna at all, then what's the beauty in that human being? And then there was no reason to create a human being then, because Allah has created the farishtas already, who don't make guna at all. Even they want to make guna, they can't make guna. They got no capacity to committing in guna. So it shows that Allah has created human being with both the capabilities of making good work and make guna also, to be obedient and to be disobedient. Both the qualities of human being has got within himself. And if they can't make guna, then Allah has created farishta already for that. At the same time, only to have guna within the person, the jannat are there for that also. So Allah has created human being a special manner, Allah has created them, special qualities Allah has created them, that they can look after them, they can control them themselves to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and stay away from disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one is a person has got the capabilities. Now somebody telling me, look, you do this, I'll be happy with you. You do this, I'll be displeased with you. Now the person chooses to make the person happy. So that is the greatness in a person. That is the kamal, in the perfection in the person. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, and Allah ta'ala put a capability within us that this is my command, you do this, and I'll be happy with you. You do this, I won't be happy, I'll be displeased with you. Now we work in that manner to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do what things pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the perfection of a human being. This is now. No matter a person's desire can desire for something, whatever it is, but he knows the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the happiness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lies in obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we will overpower his desires, and he will try to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fulfill the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he won't make any guna. So this alone is the beauty in a human being, and this staying away from guna, it is called taqwa. It is called. It is a nur of taqwa, nur of iman that the person is got inside. So here you find there are two things. One is the capabilities of making tawbah, and one is not to have the capability of making tawbah. Like for example, a person is blind. Now this person who is blind now, if he doesn't see any woman, for example, he don't see the TV, for example, or he don't go to cinemas, he doesn't go. He don't see anything wrong until the people that I take qasam in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have never saw a woman in my life. I never see the TV in my life, whatever it is. I never see anything wrong in my life. What will see such a person? That you haven't got the capability to see how can you say you haven't seen anything? But there a person has got the capacity and the capability to see something, to do something, and then stay away from the wrong thing. That is the beauty in the person. That is the perfection in the person. So a person who's got this quality of sight in him, he can see, and in spite of the sight now, he doesn't put his gaze on the woman, or he doesn't see something wrong, and he look after his nerves in that manner now. So this will show that this person has got some perfection with himself. So you can imagine when a person controls his desires in such a way, just to obey the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all times, how Allah ta'ala won't get happy with that person. And this happiness with Allah ta'ala gets with him is because of that nur of taqwa in that person. That's what we could achieve, to strive for. And another thing we'll find here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is called Ghaffar, who forgives us. And Allah has kept this quality in the human being to slip up, to make guna sometimes. So if a person doesn't make guna, then how will this quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of forgiveness come to existence? How will he display that? So this also is one point which we need to understand, that Allah ta'ala is all forgiving, we say, and if you don't make guna, how will display this quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all forgiving? So the one is you've got to be very careful to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be all out to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In that process, if you slip up somewhere, make a mistake, whatever it is, and make guna, now you got to ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now Allah ta'ala is forgiving, and Allah ta'ala display the quality of forgiveness at that time. And in some kitabs it has been written so much that person after making ibadat, then what happens? Pride comes into him. And in comparison to that, a person who makes a guna, and then he feels humble within himself. This person after who makes a guna and he gets humble himself in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is much more better than the person who makes ibadat and have pride within himself. Why? Because a person who's got pride within himself, that ibadat is not accepted already. That ibadat is cancelled already because of the pride that came into him. Because the ibadat was not sincerely made for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the person after making a guna, he's got that humbleness within himself, he's got that hurt within himself, the regret within himself. This is something which is very much likeable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and a lot of qadr by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by this regret that the person has within himself, years of mujahada, he's got nothing compared to this. He comes close to Allah ta'ala so much, and achieve the marif Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so quickly in this way, then by making marif for many years also. Just like sometimes I always say that a person who's got regret within himself, that regret has got a lot of qadr in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why in the Sufia also, the person called mujahada, a lot of mujahada, and then reaches such a stage where he recognizes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By a person having the nerve within himself, that alone, that few drops of tears that comes up from his eyes because of the regret within himself and the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he reaches the stage of marifat quickly, very quickly. So here one little poem Bright says, the person who was Zaid, he got a lot of boast upon his ibadat so much that he gets involved in the fight so much that he loses everything. And the person who was a sinner, and on the son he felt so much of regret and sorrow upon his feel that he reaches Jannat immediately. So a person who makes a lot of ibadat also, and he got pride over that ibadat, that pride won't take him to Jannat. But a person who makes guna and makes tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that tawbah will take him to Jannat, will take him. So yeah, as Mustafa said, and with the essence of what we're discussing here is that you could understand the powers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala has got a quality of forgiving everyone. Allah ta'ala is Ghaffar, forgive everybody here. And to display the quality of Ghaffariyat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to make Allah ta'ala happy, we have to make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whenever we slip up and turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah, because of this quality of His Ghaffar, will forgive us. That's why by reading this hadith, you mustn't get confused and take a wrong meaning of the meaning, that you start to become very bold to make guna and disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is not the meaning of the hadith. The meaning of the hadith means that you must carry out your duties Allah ta'ala has put towards you, and while carrying out your duties, by mistake, if you slip up somewhere, whatever it is, you go off track, whatever, then turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala forgive us. His rahmat is much more than his ghazab, and we mustn't lose hope in the mercies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala give us the tawfiq of understanding the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then when the person pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is happy with that person, and that person, wherever he goes, whatever dua he makes, it was accepted always. So Allah give us the tawfiq of understanding the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and achieving the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by making tawbah to Allah and keep ourselves aligned with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by making tawbah istighfar always. That's why once the Sahab said in the company of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they heard him making istighfar. In told Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, your gunas are forgiven from before already. Why make istighfar? So Mustafa said, Pastor become a obedient servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah provided me so much of ni'mat, and to make tawbah istighfar means Allah was teaching the Sahaba that you also make tawbah istighfar, you must make. So I am so pure from sins, so you who are involved with sins, more in need of making tawbah istighfar more. Some Sahaba said in the company of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he makes tawbah 70 times, makes istighfar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one is for making tawbah from our guna, one is istighfar for small gunas we make. We don't even realize those gunas, but they make istighfar for that people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and draw the mercies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we see Allah has got 99 portions of His mercy for the year after. For there He was just a small little example, excuse from us that can put us in Jannah, Find many examples like that woman who was a prostitute. She gave little water to a dog, and that was the excuse a little I wanted to put into Jannah. That pious person made so much of ibadah he made, but just because he looked after the small little puppy who was shivering in the cold, that excuse a little I wanted to put him into Jannah. On the other hand, you'll find Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullahi alayhi, he made ibadah at night on his roof. His neighbor was a person who worked the whole day, which was a blacksmith. She worked with iron. At night she would come, she gets so tired, she would come home and say that, only if I had no wife and children, look after Ashmi Ibadat just like what Muhammad Ashmi Ibadat means. So just thought and this feeling alone in him, Allah liked it so much, Allah forgive him because of that. So it shows Allah look for excuses how to forgive us. On the other hand, we find a person who becomes very fikr, unaware, or very unconscious of what he's doing. In other words, he becomes complacent. In other words, that person also Allah takes him to task also. Because one person was a very pious person, and he passed away. He saw that, and somebody saw in a dream he's in punishment. He couldn't understand why he's in punishment. What's happened? Why is he in punishment now? When asked his wife that what the husband was in punishment, he said, no, it's like you all know how he's. What is something that we saw that somebody saw in a dream is in punishment. He said the only problem was when it was winter days and he would make ghusl. She would utter one word. He said that the Christian religion is better. They don't have to pass on. But one small little thing to take him to task. So it shows that Allah Ta'ala look for examples as the excuses for us to put us into Jannah. The more we are careful on our deen and to please Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, from there one sincere action of ours will become an excuse for us to go into Jannah also, inshallah.